Good morning and welcome to the Sky Spirit channel, wherever and whenever you're watching this video. I hope the messages find you. It doesn't matter what time it is, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this years down the line. Remember, time as a linear construct doesn't exist in the esoteric world. And so whatever time you're watching this, whenever you're watching this, then take the messages as a little nudge from spirit, or a nudge from your spirit guide, a nudge from the Weave world, that there's a message for you to be had today. Weave World, that was a brilliant book. I've just remembered that book. It was a Clive Barker book. I read it years ago. And it was like about the interconnectivity of everything. And that's one of my sort of the key features of my beliefs, that we're all connected and we're all one. So, yeah, I might look that book up again. It was really, really good. I remember at the time, I'm talking like 20 years ago that I read it, showing my age massively. Actually, it could have been 40 years ago that I read it. So showing my age even more. Right. So enough waffle. Today's astrology oversight. So today we have a retrograde Mercury that's forming a sextile with Pluto. A sextile is like, it's just the pattern that it forms. Like if you imagine on a chart, the charts are drawn in a circle and you have your different planets around where they actually sort of are compared to that day. So if you were to look up where they are, and when a sextile is, it's just the aspect between a group of planets, and there's some aspects that are considered favorable, conjunctions and sextiles and so on, and some that are considered more challenging, like a square. So it's a good thing that this retrograde Mercury is in a sextile with Pluto, but a little bit tricky because it's a retrograde planet, of course. What that could bring to the table is a day where it feels like your thinking is very goal orientated. So it's like you have you're making plans, and it's like that day of the day of the mighty tick list. So you feel like, you know, everything is falling into place. There could also be a little bit of things that become uncovered. If you remember, I mentioned yesterday that the aspects were indicating that it's a day for discoveries, and perhaps discoveries about the past. Well, that energy has continued on to today. And we've also got the moon hanging around in Aquarius today, which will bring a sense of the extraordinary or the unusual or some alternative things to your door today. So I hope that resonates for you. Good morning, Sunseas. Nice to see you again. It's lovely to have you back as a regular viewer. Right, straight on to a collective reading here. So we've got the Lovers, the Sun, and the Four of Cups reversed. So the Lovers talks about this is a collective energy reading, so read it on a global or a more on a group level. So it's sort of the general influences that could be affecting us today. So Lovers it can be about romantic love, and you know, that's a love triangle, or having to choose between two people. It can also be about hard choices between two options. And the second card that's come out is the Sun. So it feels to me like, because the Sun it's a card of completion, it's a card of success, it's a card where you know, it's whatever's been accomplished, whatever decisions have been made have been a success. So reading that with my Lovers card here, I'm saying that this is an important decision that has to be made between two options at one point on a geopolitical basis, perhaps. And it's looking at a favorable outcome from that decision. So we're going through an important time. And if I remember yesterday, was something similar, I think it was. I'd have to look back on the live and see what it was, but I think it was a similar energy where there's like decisions being made about incredibly important things that could change the pathway forward for, you know, the planet. So this is looking good. Big decision. The final card on that little collective reading is the Four of Pentacles. I have to look at it again there. Four of Pentacles reversed, which indicates like a kind of it's a financial issue. So even though there's a decision being made which which is going to affect us globally, which looks like it has a good outcome. It looks like in the short term, this could be another one of those blows to us financially. So just keep one ear on the news today for that, because it's looking like there's sort of a collective, not more money going out of our hands here. So there is that in the background again. So interesting, sort of two halves to that little collective reading there. So I shall keep one eye or one ear on the news today and see if that pops up. Right, so moving on to the main reading for this morning. If you can choose a number between 1 and 12 or more than one number, if you feel drawn to, and I will lay out cards 1 to 12, and then I'll randomly give you the interpretations for them. So whatever situation that you're thinking of, whatever you'd like answers for, that's me shuffling, if you can hear that racket, keep that in your mind. So really focus your mind in on that question, and put it out to the universe that you'd like some insight or some help. Or sometimes, the tarot just give you a different way of looking at things. Because I get asked, like, how do the tarot work? And there's various opinions on that. So we say different people have different ideas. So, right, the first one is sort of as a key to your higher self. So it's almost like you're working with your own tuition, and it's all sort of locked in yourself. So it's your higher self. You're communicating with yourself when you're reading, and that's it. Say if I'm reading the cards, I'm reading from my higher self, which could be connected to your higher self if we go along with the belief that we're all connected. So there's that way of looking at it. There also, some people believe it's an external force. So some people believe they hold a power of their own to predict the future or to tell you about situations that are happening at the moment. And some people just use them as a tool for self-help. So if you've got a decision to make, you can lay out some cards, and it's like blue sky thinking. It's like perhaps giving you some options that you hadn't considered. For me, I believe that it's a mixture of the two things. So I think sometimes it's a connection between the reader and the querent. And sometimes I think we get an extra nudge from spirit as well. So I think it's all of those things at the same time. But that's just my opinion. Get some cards and then use them and then make up your own mind. Honestly, you'd be so shocked how true they are, how they're just it never ceases to amaze me how absolutely accurate the tarot can be. If you trust them, you have to say what you see. It's when you start putting your own interpretation and your own logic on things, thinking, no, that can't be right, I'm not going to say that. That's when you end up sort of misreading. Okay, right, stop waffling. Right, number 12. Number 12, you've got the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles talks about learning in a situation. So what is it that you've learned about recently? Have you learned about somebody? Have they shown you their true colors? Have you learned how they operate? Or are you learning a new skill that's going to benefit you? So this energy of education and learning and acquiring more knowledge is very strong around you today. So the message of this card would be to take on board any new learning opportunities because it's aspected well for you, and to also consider, have you been learning about somebody or a situation, and now you're in a much better position knowledge-wise, so that you're able to make a decision or judgment about them, or decide where you go with them, sort of thing. So it's the card of learning. It's a positive card. So it's saying that this knowledge that you've acquired is useful and it's well earned, and to implement it is going to be very beneficial to you. Number one, you have the Two of Wands reversed. So the Two of Wands reversed talks about there's sort of a stagnation, or if you've been waiting for something to happen, it's like it feels like there's obstacles. It can feel like you've got a lack of vision, because it's like when you've had big dreams about something and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm just not really interested in that anymore. Oh, that's not going to work. And you suddenly feel more negative about it. So this energy is really like that deflated balloon, thinking, yeah, I thought that was a good idea, but then suddenly I can see all these problems and these issues and I can't see how it's going to work. And what was I thinking? Okay, so this is the what was I thinking card when it's this way up. But the advice of the card, because remember, card always has the intended energy bubbling under the surface, and the reversal's job is to try to tell you how to get back to the positive aspect of the card. So it's a question for you, isn't it? How do you change your mindset from feeling stuck to getting back on the horse and galloping off at top speed? And it is a question of perspective. So it is a question of reanalyzing, revisiting whatever it is that you were focusing on with enthusiasm. And wherever you've sort of gone off the boil with that, go back to that, review it, talk to somebody about it. Remember what it was that made you feel so positive and optimistic about it. Why did you feel that way? Why do you now not feel that way about something? So it's all to do with stopping in your tracks and not allowing the emotion to carry you on without you analyzing it and picking it apart and working out how to work with it, how to change it. Or sometimes these sort of stumbling blocks that we come across and these emotional dips are for our own good. So it's because something wasn't going to work. So I would say our inner self has switched off the gas and shut the door and walked off. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, right, we're going to leave that. Let's take our energy elsewhere. So have a look around you at what used to have your attention and have your heart and your energy and your thoughts and your, you know, just thinking a lot about something, doing a lot about it, feeling that it was something you want to continue. What is it that's now not there, or you're looking at it in a different light? So, and what we need to do is revisit it to see if it can be brought back into the light. So if you can refocus on it, or if there are good reasons why it needs to be kicked to the curb and left in the past. So let me know how that works out for you, because that's it's quite a nuanced reading, isn't it? It's quite an interesting little setup of things there. So I'd be really interested to hear. Number six, you've got the 9 of Wands reversed. So the 9 of Wands reversed is about, it's like whatever you felt determined about and resilient about, you're feeling a bit weak and sort of cut off. Now it's funny, isn't it? Because that's a similar feeling to the card that we've just had, and that seems to happen every morning. So this is, it's like feeling downtrodden. It's like feeling that you've put too much into something and it's still not going where you want it to go. It's like it's every stumbling block, it's everything that gets in your way. It's you know, feeling that you've tried your hardest to do something and it just hasn't bloody worked and you're sick of it now. So this is you sort of again looking at something and thinking, I can't be bothered with this to continue. So the message of this card, when it's upright, it's determination, it's courage, it's protecting your own, it's resilience in the face of adversity, it's overcoming challenges. So this is a matter of turning your energy round to be back to this positive aspect of this like indomitable energy where you're just, you know, battling forward and everything's falling into place. So what I would do with this, the message of the card is to look and to first identify what this problem or issue is, or what this situation or your feelings about it are. And then again, to analyze it, to examine it, to maybe talk it through with somebody, to write it down, to look and see where is it that you've lost this drive and determination and you feel like you've been vanquished and beaten about something. And what can you do about that? Is it a case of regrouping your energy and going back to it? Is it a case, again, of kicking it to the curb and moving on to your next thing? So it's so similar to how that card was in the reversal. So again, let me know if that resonates with you. Do subscribe to the channel, please, and put any questions you've got live in the chats. I'm happy to answer live questions from subscribers. You need to be subscribed to use the live chat. And subscribers help the channel to grow, and it'll mean that I can continue to do this in the morning because I love doing it and it's good. Right, number 7. Number 7, you've got the Four of Swords reversed. This indicates that a period of stagnation, contemplation, frustration, feeling stuck are over. So this is you rising from, if you have a look at this, it's like this guy is basically in bed. So when he's upside down, he's being tipped out of bed. So the universe is pushing you across your bed and then tipping it gently over, and you're tumbling down onto the carpet of life. So it's time to get up and start, back on the treadmill, because you've got stuff to do, because you have been experiencing a quiet time. We can't all be busy, busy, busy all the time. There has to be that flow of up and down energy. And it feels like you've been in a low for quite a while. And it feels like, I always call it like the big rest, the Four of Swords. It's like exhaustion, and I can't do anything, and I just can't be bothered, that sort of thing. And it could go on for quite a while. But when it's reversed now, it's like, right, this is over. It's time to get back to normality here. It's time to shake off the cobwebs. It's time to emerge from the winter to the spring. So if you're watching this and it is March the 26th, which is today here, then it's a great time to change from winter to spring, because we're just starting on our journey into spring. And that's the energy of this card. It's like, right, you've had enough rest, you've had enough contemplation. Now it's time to sort of spring into action. So let me know if that resonates for you. Number 5. Number 5, you've got the Ten of Wands reversed. The Ten of Wands is about feeling overburdened. It's about taking on too much emotionally, physically, mentally, and struggling under those burdens. When the Ten of Wands is reversed, it talks about the fact that, yes, this has been how you felt, taking on too much, struggling. However, now is the time when these burdens are going to be released. So you're going to turn it upside down. All these sticks, wands, will drop to the floor, and then you can skip off quite happily without that weight of them hanging onto your back and sort of bringing you down, sort of weighing you right down. So this is a great card, number 5, and it's whatever you've felt heavily in your heart is about to come to an end. So it's a card about release. It's a card about success. It's a card about feeling lighthearted and free and able to step away from bonds. This can also be, if you've been waiting for some news that's, could go one way or another, and it's sort of something that's been worrying you, consider this as an indication that the answer, the news, is coming to you sort of today, and it's going to lift that burden of worry, because the burden doesn't have to be taking on physical things, doing physical things. It can just be that heaviness of worry that we have, and we're waiting for news, like medical results and things like that can be very stressful. So that this card indicates that that burden is just about to be released. So let me know if that happens to you today. Number two, you have the King of Cups. What a beautiful card. The King of Cups can be a romance. It can be a trusted companion, a good friend who advises well. He can be a new romantic partner on the scene. What he is he's somebody who would be one of those people that would offer you the shirt off his back. He would help you. He would advise you. He's quite a paternal figure. So he might be a fatherly sort of age, or a grandfatherly sort of age, or at least have that sort of mature countenance about him. And he's somebody that can be trusted. So is this you? Or is this somebody that's going to come into your life today, or you're going to have contact with? Now, obviously, with one card readings, it's impossible for me to say one way or the other. I'd just be lying to you if I did that, which I'm not going to do. So this has different interpretations. It can be you. So you could be this person today, and you could be in one of those moods where you're able to help people. You're able to, open your heart to people and be so emotionally beneficial to them and yourself, because the sun is shining out of you today. Or is this somebody that you meet? So is this somebody moving into your life? Is this a love interest? Is it just somebody who is going to have a deeply emotional impact on you in a positive way? Or is this a situation where it's that sort of paternal energy where a group of people are looking after each other, leading each other, guiding each other, and just it's an open heart situation? So it's people who are, you know, they wear their heart on their sleeve and they're very emotionally open, not to the sort of the overly emotional, watery sort of signs. This is more of this is a regal king, so he's not sort of wishy-washy. He's still very much in control, but he is an emotional, genuine person, and that will be a situation that is emotionally fulfilling. If that's the case, that's the interpretation for you. Lovely card. Number three, you have the Queen of, had to turn that around. You have the Queen of Swords reversed. So the Queen of Swords reversed can be a bitter woman, an angry woman, a bit of a bitch, I should say. It's so it could be somebody who's aggressive, somebody who is manipulative, somebody who's sharp of tongue, somebody who can cut you dead. Remember the swords, it's all about conflict, confrontation, arguments, also about intellect. So the Queen of Swords reversed can be a very clever or cunning woman who's using her intelligence in a negative way. So they could be using it to manipulate you or manipulate a situation. Again, is this you? Do you need to keep yourself a little bit in check because, you know, potentially some hurt, some internal anger is getting out in the worst possible way? Or is this somebody that you're going to encounter today? Or again, is it a situation? I think with the Queen, it's more likely a person, because it's a really strong sense of that bitter, manipulative feminine energy. So just watch out for that today. I hate being the voice of doom in the morning, but I always say forewarned is forearmed. So look out for this person today. Or if it's you, check yourself. Okay, check yourself before you verbally attack somebody, you know, before you sort of put somebody down. It can also indicate like gossip behind people's backs as well. So if you're meeting up with somebody today, then just have that self-awareness where you think, I mustn't gossip about X and X who isn't here, and oh, you know, let's steer the conversation away from slagging off such and such because they're not here to defend themselves or whatever. So just bear that in mind today and let me know if that resonates. Number four, you've got High Priestess reversed. High Priestess reversed is drawing your attention to the fact that there's a situation where you should have used your gut instinct, or you should have used your intuition, or there's a situation which is you're being required to make a decision where one of your options for making that decision is to use your intuition. And this card's telling you that you failed to do that. It's reversed. So it's like, what decision have you just made that you used either your head or your heart, but not your gut? Or what decision are you in the process of making where you can either use your head, heart, or gut, and you're erring away from using your gut? The High Priestess is telling you, please stop. Please use your internal intuition. Please follow that gut feeling when you're making your mind up about this particular decision today. If you want to know a really, really easy way of communicating with your intuition, then do something like this. This is one that I use all the time, and it's so simple. So just center yourself, do some breathing techniques, slow down your breathing. I do 4 in, hold, 4 out, hold, 4 in, so on and so forth. And then when you feel like your mind's quietened a little bit, ask your higher self, or you can ask another power if you have different beliefs. Ask your higher self to give you a sign for yes, or a body feeling for yes, and then ask the same for no. And you should get, I've got a, if I have for no, I have like a constrained feeling in the chest. For yes, an expanding feeling. So like, and I can't describe it. It's like the chakra opening or constricting. And I also have the visions. So if it's a yes, I'll see white horses in my mind. If it's a no, I'll see black horses in my mind. And that's the sort of communication structure and framework that I've asked my spirit guide to use now, and higher self, so that I can quickly communicate on that level. So if you want to give that a go, that's a brilliant way of doing it. There are other ways, of course. but that's a really simple way. So back to the actual situation, whatever this decision is, really go back to it, revisit it, and try to do some of that internal work, some introspective consideration of the matter before you finalize it. So especially if you've got to make an absolute firm decision, sign on the dotted line type of thing, just stall from it until you've really done some of that inner work. Number eight, you've got the Knight of Swords reversed. So the Knight of Swords can be somebody, he moves quickly. Okay, sorry, it's the Page of Swords. I thought I saw a horse under him, and it's not, it's a cloud. So this is not somebody who moves quickly. This is somebody who is intellectual. It's a situation or a person who's coming into your life. A sword can often be, a page can often be a message. So this could be a communication, and it's got that intelligence. Because swords are the element of air, so they're mercurial, they move fast. It's about intellect, but it's also about confrontation as well. With it being reversed, we're looking at the potential for a negative communication or some kind of negative intelligence coming to you quite quickly today. So it's something that could possibly, with the Page of Swords, I often see him like cutting through, again, the clouds, mention the clouds. He's cutting through the clouds to get to the truth. So it seems like you might be in a position today where you have to search for the truth, where you have to use your intellect in the form of the sword to really cut through that confusion and to dispel the clouds, because it feels like perhaps there's a little bit of somebody trying to pull the wool over your eyes, perhaps, or things not being exactly as they are. So you need to do a little bit of waving that sword around to dispel those clouds of confusion, to dig your way into what the true message is of this communication that you receive. So again, that's quite an interesting reading. The other possibility with this card is it does, because it's about intellect and it's about curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, it can mean that you're going hunting for that information. So if something doesn't arrive to you, it might well be that you have the urge to go looking for it. So if that's the case, again, be prepared to dig a little deeper than usual in order to get to the truth. Number nine, you've got the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is about, it can be about putting some plans down. It's about having self-confidence. It's about sort of standing your ground, standing up for what you believe in. But it's like that feeling of you've been in battle and you just won't give up. You know, you've got that, you're building your self-confidence. You're even building a strategy to move forward. And it's like you're stood there and you're thinking, right, okay, well, I've overcome these adversities, but I'm not stopping here. It's like, I'm not stopping until everything is exactly how I want it. And this guy is looking at the resources that he has. So this is you looking around thinking, right, I've got X, Y, and Z, which I can use to accomplish the goal that I'm setting out to accomplish. So this is showing you gathering those resources to you and implementing them with almost magician-like sort of power in order to put things into play, and all the while standing there with high energy, defending your thoughts and energy patterns and ways of doing things. So it's like this guy isn't listening to anybody, no naysayers, nothing. So, and this is you not listening to the haters, not listening to people who aren't fully on board with you, not listening to people who want to put you down or want to hold you back. Okay, you are to trust in yourself today and really drive those things forward, because it's a really positive card and it talks about a lot of energy and a lot of self-confidence. So just ride the tails of that wave. Is that even a saying? Ride the tails of the wave. And you know what I mean? Something like that. Ride the wave of self-confidence. And, it's leading you to good things. And it feels like you're at a stage where you know more about this situation than anybody else, and you know what the resources you've got to hand. So everybody else's advice is a little bit substandard, to be honest, because it's you that's done the research. So take that energy and move forward with it, because you're in a winning position, riding the wave, or the tails of the wave. What is it that you ride the tails of? Is it a coat jacket or something? Somebody will have to tell me that. Right, number 11. Number 11. You've got the Seven of Cups reversed. Seven of Cups talks about illusion, and it talks about falsehoods, and it talks about daydreaming, about different opportunities. But when it's reversed, it's that feeling where your dreams have been taken away, or opportunities have been removed, or sort of illusions have been shattered. So you feel like your hands have been a bit tied, and there aren't all these wonderful opportunities, and all these different paths that were presented in the upright position of the card seem to have been blocked off, and it feels like they have been taken away, like you have no choice, like you're it's like when every door slams up a corridor and you're just channeled towards the one at the end. So you like have no choice about which way to go anymore, because all these paths are being closed. And that's the mindset of this. It's a mindset of feeling frustrated, channeled, pushed down to only one option, whereas before you felt like you had more options. The advice of this card, because remember, it's a reversal of the true energy, is that the choices are still there, or revised versions of the choices, because sometimes choices are removed from us for a reason. I do believe that, and it's because they were the wrong door to go through. So I think you've got to think, okay, what will be, and there is an element of destiny involved in this, and sometimes opportunities are removed and there's no getting away from it, but that doesn't mean to say that you're not still going in the right direction, and these choices or more choices are going to return to you. So it's a question of reanalyzing your options, re-examining your goals, looking at what you really want from life or this particular situation. And if you're wondering what situation it is, it's the one that you're thinking of right now. It's about re-examining that and sort of looking at your choices and thinking, okay, was this for my best higher purpose? Would this have been a good thing for me, or did I just want it, and I wanted it for what reason? So it's inviting you to do a bit of self-analysis to work out your motivations, why you've wanted certain things and why you didn't want other things. And then what you'll see is, once you're more clear, oh, we're going back the other way, then the card will resume its full energy. The choices will feel like they've returned, even though they never went anywhere. It just felt like you were so limited, but you'll feel unlimited again, limitless, and those opportunities will present. So just play with that energy a little bit, and remember that we can't control how other people react, but we can control how we react to situations, and how we react governs how we feel about something, because you can only feel upset about something, and you can only suffer if you're reacting in that way to a circumstance, situation, or person. So if you can train your mind to not react, then you don't suffer. So it's all about that self-mastery, because we can never control what somebody else does. It's all about ourselves. Okay, number 10, the final one. Number 10, beautiful card. It's the Hanged Man. So this has got various nuanced meanings, and basically, literally, it could mean that if you're waiting for a decision and you're thinking the resolution might come today, then it probably won't. Okay, because the Hanged Man is hanging around. He's suspended, waiting for something to happen. It's not like he's springing forward and it's happening. But what it can also mean is that you're being invited to hang back from a situation in order to accumulate some wisdom or intuition. So you need to take your time or suspend decision making. So So if you're waiting for a decision to be made for you, don't expect it to be made today. If you're having to choose to do or not do something this is a big life-changing thing, by the way, because it's major arcana. So if you're having to make these choices, then draw back from the choice today, because the energy is more about self-contemplation. It's about accumulating wisdom. It's about basically what the illustration is supposed to come from. It's supposed to come from like, you know how some monks and indigenous people will do sort of trials of, it's like a meditation, but it'll go on for like days and days, where they're hung upside down from a tree or buried or something like that, something quite extreme. I guess you could also liken it to Jesus Christ and the 40 days in the desert thing. It's that suffering in order to achieve enlightenment feeling. So this feels like it's something you're having to hang back, and it could be that you have to put a bit more effort in. It could be that you feel like you want the thing to progress quickly, and it feels like you're suffering because you're having to wait for it to happen. But in actual fact, it's suffering in order to achieve something. So it's enabling you to see the situation with greater clarity, to achieve that enlightenment, to gain a more holistic perspective, a 360-degree perspective, rather than that very narrow vision that we get of something when we rush into it. So again, there's a few meanings associated with that. Again, it's absolutely not possible to go, right, one card, this is about your love life or something, and that needs to be suspended. That's too detailed for the one card. It's an overall, would need several more cards to get more specific. So yeah, let me know how that relates to you. That's the end of the 12 card reading. I haven't got any questions again today. If you do have a question, if you're watching this at a later date, send me at naomi@skyspirit.co.uk, or subscribe to the channel, and then you can ask it live in the morning, 10:30 every weekday morning. Please do subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Stay weird.